Greetings and salutations to all of you lovely, wonderful listeners out there. You sweet and adorable beings, furs, non-furs, and just as easily lovely ones alike. Welcome to this next episode of the KittyFoxCast. It has been quite a weekend. Oh my. And I mean that in every sense of the word, oh my. So, the biggest thing that happened over this weekend was Texas Furry Fiesta. Yes. I was just in Dallas, Texas for the convention, and I have to be honest, this was probably the best year yet. Granted, this is my second year officially at this convention, but of the 2 years, this has been the best one so far. And we'll get into why. So, I'll just give you the play-by-play of kind of what happened. So, it started out Thursday morning. I got up at the crack of tail. It was basically, gosh, I had to be up like 5 a.m. because my flight was at 8 a.m. and it takes an hour to get to the airport near me. So, yeah, I had to get up. I had to shower. I had to make sure my last minute items were packed, like my phone charger and toothbrush and stuff. And a very lovely goat friend apprehended me outside of my door, who I'm very thankful that he lives very close to me. He sacrificed his time and part of his day to get me to the airport. So shout out to him for being so lovely and for being very accommodating in my time of need. So yeah, we loaded up. We drove through the cold, rainy morning of the Ohio weather, and we got to the airport just in time. I had about an hour and a half at that point, and, you know, in typical furry fashion, you got all your suitcases and all your stuff, and you're getting your things together. So I check in, and I'm very surprised to see that the airport is like super busy, like freaking nightmarishly busy at 5 in the morning, and I'm not sure why. I know that this past Sunday was Palm Sunday, but that's not really something that people. I don't know. Do people take off work for Palm Sunday? Is that a thing? Is that? I mean, it's a holiday, but it's on a Sunday. But I don't know. I'm not sure what the culture is surrounding that as far as time off is concerned. But anyway, so I get to the airport. I'm in the TSA line. It is very long, like stretched back to the doors long, and I'm not sure why. It's a Thursday at 5 a.m. Like what could possibly be going on here? But anyway, so I get up there, and it's relatively easy. I'm thankful that just kind of zipped through the line, and there really weren't any issues as far as TSA was excuse me, concerned. Hiccups, and yeah, I got all my stuff, and it was kind of funny. While I was standing in line at TSA, I look at one of the group chats that I run, and one of my friends, furry friends in there, is explaining how he's also in a TSA line, and I just kind of responded like, "Hey, yo, me too." And he was like, "Wait a second." And then he responded to me, and he put the flight number that I was on in the chat, and he was like, "This you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yo, no way." So I ran to the terminal, and sure enough, there he is with 3 of my other friends. Go figure. Like, we all were going to, I mean, not surprising, a bunch of furries are going on the same flight from the same area to the same convention, but, I had no idea that him or any of my other friends were going to be going, so that was a really sweet surprise, walking up to the gate and seeing all of them like, "Hey, fellow friends, you're all friend-shaped, yay, we're going to the con together, sweet," and we're all on the same flight, so, yeah, that was a blessing. I didn't have to wait around alone, and we were all on the same flight together. So awesome! And also, as I was walking on the plane, in addition to my friends, There was another one behind me. Another random fur was behind me, whom I've never seen before, but I guess he was around this area, and I've never seen him in any meets or anything like that. So it was a surprise to say the least. He was carrying a DJ deck, um, basically a DJ soundboard. To those of you who don't know what a deck is, yeah, which again, typical furry fashion. And what tipped him off was the fact that I was wearing a Hawaiian bluey shirt. Yes, I own a Hawaiian bluey style shirt, and he looked at me and I looked at him, and we both said in unison, TFF, and we both nodded at each other. So it was a nice little moment of like, hey, guess what? We're both going to the same con too. Yeah. So yeah, that was a real treat. Like, basically a flight full of furries from the Ohio area. So, hey, I'll take it. So, one of the things that I'm thankful for is on the flight itself, it was relatively smooth getting to Dallas. And something happened that I hadn't seen in quite a while. And that is, I had an open seat next to me. So I usually take an aisle seat in case I need to get up or in case, just for, that's my preference. I like the aisle seat. And the middle seat was open between the window and the aisle. And me and this other person, we just kind of threw our stuff up there. Like, hey, this is our own little private suite here. Nice. So we just piled our stuff up and, yeah, it was nice to be able to stretch my legs and stretch my arms, use both armrests, and I slept like a baby the entire flight, pretty much. So, hey, shout out to American Airlines for actually being accommodating this time. So anyway, we land, we get our bags. As a matter of fact, as we were getting into the baggage claim, there was my bag right when I walked in. So I'm like, yep, yoink, there it is. Let's go. So yeah, they got the bags out real quick. I was surprised because usually you're standing there a good 10 minutes before your bag rolls out. But hey, it was there and I took the opportunity. So sweet. Anyway, so the next thing is we get on the DART train to go into downtown Dallas because we had landed at Dallas Fort Worth and we hopped on the train to get to the hotel. So how it works is there's a connecting shuttle train that basically connects to the airport and then various hubs around Dallas, and that was a $3 option as opposed to like a $40 Uber option. So at first I was just going to take an Uber, but then they were like, hey, if you just download this app and you pay $3, then you get a decent train ride. And I was like, oh, okay, I like trains, so let's go. So we get on the train, get all comfy, and you should have seen it. All of our stuff, like all of our bags, were just piled and stacked and piled and stacked, and everything was just, yeah, we were ready to go. We took up like half the rows just by our stuff alone, so we got everything, and it was about a 45-minute train ride into downtown, and there were multiple stops, but I have to be honest, that train ride was really relaxing. I was very happy with it. It was honestly one of the more smooth train rides I ever got, and chatted with my fox friend the whole time, and yeah, we had a great time. Just we had moments together, so really thankful for that. And we got to the station by the hotel, and we piled off, and it was like a 4-minute walk to the hotel itself, and we were in. And let me tell you, when I walked in that hotel, I just felt something. I felt something like super warm and fuzzy on the inside. And yeah, just standing in that lobby again, it really felt special. And yeah, I just was like, had that feeling of, I can't believe I'm back. It's just there's something magical about walking into a furry convention that you love so much and just feeling that feeling. Like, if you've never been to a convention, I hope you experience this one day. It's like a euphoric feeling of just unbelievability. It's hard to describe, really, of just like, wow, I can't believe I'm back again. Like, I feel really good about this. So, yeah, just standing in that lobby and just feeling that moment, looking around, doing a 360, and just being like, I have missed you, Sheraton, Dallas Sheraton. So, so they my friends go to check in. I say my goodbyes, and I go up to my room, and there are my two rubies. They're unpacking and doing their thing, and so I say my hellos and give them hugs and say what's up, and shout out to my one local friend who lives in Dallas area and who hooked me up with a space for this con. So that was super nice. It was in the main hotel. Like, he could have asked anybody, but he decided to ask me. So I thought that was really kind of him. So big shout out to him and for being one of the best roomies ever, and to my other roomie for making it a fun time as well. You guys really made my convention, and I really could not thank you enough. Like, it just, I love this con, and when you add in like good friends as your roommates in the mix, it just makes it that much more magical. So I'm super grateful for my roomies for being so lovely and accommodating, and yeah, I could not ask for a better set for this con. So yeah, I get unpacked because that's what I like to do. I talked about this a little bit on a previous podcast, but I kind of have a routine whenever I go to conventions. I like to get there, first of all, get there and get in the hotel, and check in or whatever I have to do. And then first thing I do is I go straight to my room because I want to make sure that my key works. I want to make sure that all my stuff is put down because I will not, I repeat, I will not drag my stuff around an entire convention center when I could easily, take it up to my room and no problem. And it just makes it for a better peace of mind knowing that my stuff is like in there and unpacked and ready to go at a moment's notice. So I get all my stuff unpacked, and at that point in the day, it's about probably 1 p.m. or so, and I'm like, okay, well, let's go downstairs and let's start checking it out and see what's going on. So I go down there, and my roomies, they follow me, but kind of at a distance because they had their own stuff going on. So I was like, okay, I'll just run down and see. And lo and behold, registration is open for the convention. Oh my gosh, they had opened registration early. Like, I was checking the schedule and they already had it open. I'm like, hey, let's go. It's Thursday at 1 p.m. Let's go. Registration's open already. Awesome. So, sorry about that. I took a little sippy. Um, so, I kid you not, I'm in line for not even 5 minutes. Like, I get in there, there's there's a decent amount of people inside, but yeah, there's like at the same time nobody in line. So I get in line and I'm in line for 5 minutes total. I'm like, all right, sick, nice. So I get up there, and first thing I see is someone wearing a very similar bluey shirt that I'm wearing. And I'm like, all right, okay, nice. And I'm like complimenting their shirt, just being like, hey, that's a dope shirt. And they're like, oh, you too. And yeah, we had a nice little moment there. And I got my badge, I got my sponsor stuff, and off we go. So yeah, I didn't wait around. I took my stuff back up to the room, and then I grabbed my fursuit, partialed for the first day, and got my GoPro, and I was down. Like, I was down on the con floor as soon as possible. I just could not wait. Immediately started saying hi to people. I was already meeting friends and being like, "Oh my gosh, you're here and you're here," and like meeting new people, and like immediately people started to come up to me and start to like express their support. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. Like, I'm already seeing people that like watch my videos and stuff, and this is really cool that they're actually taking the time, already. As a matter of fact, they have a nice little cafeteria in the hotel, which is super nice. You can go down there and get like snacks and stuff and sandwiches and whatever. So I was taking a breather, getting a sandwich, because I was really hungry, and someone had come up to me while I was sitting there, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're Samson?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is what I look like out of suit," because I had my suit head on the table, just like chilling. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's you!" And we start talking, and we get a picture in suit together, and it was really sweet, and they were so kind, and I'm just glad that they took the time, even though I was out of suit, to say something. So yeah, shout out to the Blue Fox if you're listening to this. You know who you are. So, and also met some couple new friends down there too. We had a chat for a while, and it's because one of them saw my fursuit head, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's super cute." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And we started talking and stuff, and it was great. And we swapped telegrams, and it's been really nice ever since. So yeah, that was well, I almost said that was day one. It's not over yet. There's more. Um, I I ended up going to dinner with my roomies later that night. We went out to this little hole in the wall Mexican place, which was beautiful, and it was a few blocks away. And I opted to wear my fursuit head, just my head and my tail, to the restaurant. So we go out to the Dallas streets. We're walking, and I'm getting some B-roll shots of like the park and the beautiful buildings and the skyscrapers and all that, because it was so sunny and nice out. It was like 70 degrees and sunny, and it was just perfect, not too humid, and it was beautiful the whole time. And this is where it gets interesting. As we're walking up to the restaurant, we're about to walk in, and I'm kind of like the third one in the row of my roomies, just walk in, and I'm wearing my suit head and my tail, and some rando in a truck. It was a lifted truck because Texas, I guess. A lifted truck like drives by, rolls down his window, and says, and I'm going to clean this up for viewers and listeners' sake, but um, says, in not so many words, "Go get an effing job, you effing F got." The other F word. And he screams it out his window, like yells it. And I'm immediately taken aback, but I realize what had happened just like in seconds. So what do? I look at him straight in the eye as he's driving by through my fursuit head, and I stuck my tush out at him. I just like, I just did like a boop. I just like did like a little booty bump thing towards him, and then he like sped away. And I was like, there it is. Texas. Yes, there it is. Can't get away from the haters, I guess, but Texas, what are you going to do? I was not so upset about it as I found it funny. Like, I was actually laughing at the whole interaction because, wow, like, the fact that someone took the time in a lifted truck to slow down in an intersection and yell that out the window to me was just, it says a lot about their maturity level. That's what I'm going to say. So, uh, I I walked in with my roomies. I was like, "Hey, did you guys hear that?" And they're like, "No." So I told them the story, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "No, it's actually really funny." So, just a word of warning to you all. If you're gonna do that, make sure you don't respond, but instead maybe do something nonverbal that's non-threatening, like that. That's innocent enough. Well, innocent, but you know what I mean. Like, don't retaliate is my point. But I just did that because I thought it was funny. So, thankfully, he did not stop his truck and get out and try to fight me, because that would have gone down very badly. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is don't pick any fights. If that happens, just let it roll off your back and find a way to laugh about it, because it is indeed funny. So, whew, that was a great start to the con, I have to say. Um, Mexican was great. I had quesadillas. It was delicious. Wonderful. And then later that night, we had a little room party in my room. So yeah, it was a really good start to the con. couple of drinks, good friends, had some snugs, and it was really nice. And the next day, I got up. I shot up at 9 o'clock in the morning. I got in the shower, and I didn't waste any time. I went down to breakfast, got some breakfast, and then I came back up and got in the suit. So yeah, I wasn't wasting any time. I was ready. Like, let's go. I'm ready to suit. So I spent the big bulk of Friday suiting. I suited. I got some lovely photos with people. I met some really lovely individuals. I met more of you in the wild, and those of you who came up and said how much you enjoy the content, and like, you had some really kind words to say. And I just want to say that that happened all weekend. Like, people were coming up to me and saying something and getting pictures and hugs, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. And I'm so grateful for all of it. Like, that is probably the biggest highlight of this con, was getting to meet all of you, and just hearing your stories, getting to have conversations with you, and just being together at this convention, and just being present. And like, I said this before, but I really would not be here without all of you. And the fact that I get to meet you in real life, it really makes my heart soar. Like, it makes my heart bigger, and it makes me feel like I really don't deserve any of this. Like, the fact that you all take the time to come up to me and say something and get a hug, get a picture, you have no idea what it means to me. It really does mean the world. And the fact that I got to meet so many of you over the weekend, yeah, I was feeling really grateful, and at the same time I was feeling really small, because like, I'm just one person. I'm one person who makes content, makes videos, and does things that I want to entertain with. So I'm really glad to be doing that for all of you. And it just means the world to me that you come up to me and you say these very kind words, and you tell me your stories, and I get to hear about you and learn about you. You have no idea like how much it actually means. So thank you for that. So after shooting for about 7 hours on Friday, which is a lot, I will grant you, not my record, but it is still a lot. I went to what they call the rodeo, and for the sake of keeping it PG as possible, it was an after dark rodeo. Now, typically, I try to keep those things at a minimum in my involvement, but this is actually a lot of fun. They had a drag show. They had a little area for pups to play in, which was great, and they had like an open bar. They had some workshops going on. They had a photo booth and everything. It was fantastic. And at the end of the night, we had a little rave, so we got to dance the night away, and it was really nice to be able to just participate in that. And also, I have to say, the line to get in was ungodly long. Like, oh my gosh, was it long? Wow, like, it was probably like a 30-minute wait just to get in the room, I swear. But it was so worth it. I had a really great time, and I even met like some friends in there. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're here, and I can't believe you're here." And like, I met some new friends, and yeah, we had a great time together. I'm just really glad that we got to experience that together, and you know, um, we got to enjoy some, shall we say, alternative fun together. So, and that's all I'll say about that, without getting too graphic, because it's one of those events that's very private and closed off. And without giving in too much detail, I'll just say that I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed just getting to experience those things with everybody, and experience that time that we had together. So, yeah, that was the rodeo. And, rodeo because it's Texas, because, yeah. I thought that was kind of clever. So that was Friday. And then Saturday, basically a repeat of the previous day. I got up and I got in suit after getting some breakfast immediately, and my friends call it marathon suiting, because that's pretty much what I do. is I will suit for hours and hours and hours upon end because I love it. I love fursuiting. I love, getting to just be fluffy and, enjoy just being myself, being my true self at conventions. So, yeah, I spent the big bulk of the day fursuiting, meeting people, meeting more of you, and seeing friends that I hadn't seen for a while. Um, One of the things that I got to do, which was super cool, was I got to meet a friend of mine that I've been trying to meet for the past couple conventions, and I can't believe that he was actually there. Any of you who may know Zero Kangaroo, and yes, I am name dropping because he's a sweetheart. Zero Kangaroo, very sweet kangaroo friend, very blue, very big paws, and it was I had been looking for him the majority of the Saturday because he was only going to be there a couple days. And so I spent a good part of Saturday kind of looking out for him and like keeping my eyes open. And I saw him and he was, he was just being an entertaining bouncy Roo. And I, I looked over because actually what had happened was I, I was with some other friends, and my fox friend who I flew in with, like tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, "Hey, Zero's over there." I was like, "What? Where? Where?" Because I've been looking for him for the whole con. And there he was, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, excuse me, guys, I have to go and say hi to him." Like this is the moment that I've been waiting for a long time because, like, we had chatted a lot online, and like we just like we've been not close, but we've been kind of friendly online for the better part of a year. And here was the moment, like we're actually going to meet in person. So I start walking towards him, and then he sees me, and immediately he stretched out his arms, and I was like, "Hey!" And he was like, "Hey!" And we hugged, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" And like we embraced, and it was a beautiful moment of just like, I can't believe I'm finally meeting you. And he's like, "Yeah, same here." And like we chatted a little bit. We got some pictures together, and it was fantastic. I'm just so freaking blessed that I finally got to meet him in person. And oh man, he's such a sweetheart and like so wonderful. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. Really, it's a huge blessing to be able to get to meet him in real life. And here we were finally getting to meet each other. And yeah, I'm very grateful for that experience. So that was a big highlight of Saturday. The other things that happened were we had our little photo shoot, our little Sarah Cat fursuits photo shoot, like our family photo, um, around 2 o'clock, and so we got a group picture together. It was wonderful, and just so happened that our maker Sarah was at this con vending. So we all, after the photo shoot, we went down to the dealer's den and we said hi. We were like, "Hey, Sarah, how you doing? Hi, Mom." We say hi, Mom, just as a joke. But yeah, we was like, "Oh my gosh, it's you guys," and she gave us all hugs and we got pictures with her and stuff. And we're like, "Thank you for making us." It's a really wholesome moment. And we didn't want to take up too much of her time because she was doing business, because she's got to sell, she's got to sell and make a living at this because this is what she does as a job. So we didn't want to take up too much of her time, but we ended up, yeah, getting to see her, say hi, and you know, just just be there in the moment and just be with our maker and just give her the correct amount of appreciation because she made our suits and we wanted to express our love and just show her how much that she's really appreciated and cared for. So I could tell she really appreciated that. Like she she had a busy con up to that point, and I think that's just what she needed. So shout out to Sarah. Thank you for bringing my character to life for the third time and making it a beautiful masterpiece. And I could not thank you enough for making me, making Samson, making my fursuit. it means the world, and I could tell all of us in that moment appreciated you so much as well. So, hope you sold out. Hope you did well at this convention. We love you, Sarah. In addition, I got to check out the Dealer's Den myself. Got to go to the Artist Alley, which was huge, by the way. Major update to the Artist Alley this year. It's even bigger than last year, which I was really impressed to see. It was like a whole secondary Dealer's Den. It was that big. Like, it was gigantic. And yeah, so we got to do that, and I got some cool stuff. I got some pins. I got a shirt. I got a couple other things. I don't really need a whole lot. I don't require a whole lot from Dealer's Den these days because I pretty much have everything I need. But it's always nice to walk around and like see my favorite artists and appreciate what they're doing and how they're doing and stuff. And I did get some more Mary Mouse badges. And to those of you who don't know, Mary Mouse is the one who makes those certified badges. So you'll see like certified cat, certified fox, certified husky, whatever, and she also has like certified streamer, gamer, certified EP, those kinds of things. So I think I completed my set by getting a cat one and a fox one. So yeah, I have more Mary Mouse badges, which is probably like 10 at this point. So I wear them all. I will put them all on my lanyard and I will wear them all. So that's super cool. Shout out to Mary for all her good work and what she does. Also, shout out to True Blue Artist who was there, who I bought from a long time ago. She hooked me up with a badge commission a number of years ago, and I got to say hi to her, and she does great work. So I'll be sure to link all of these people's pages down below just so that, you all can see what's going on and you can check out their work. So, yeah. So that was Saturday pretty much. I got to put on my pet suit and my skirt and dance the night away and hang out with some friends late at night. It was really cool. Yeah, the pet suit and the skirt combination is actually quite a good combination, if I do say so myself. But yeah, so that was Saturday, between the rave, and by that point I was uber tired. I'm ready to go to bed, so I knocked out. I actually ended up spending the night with a friend of mine. We snugged. It was so nice. So yeah. We got to spend time together, and we got some food at like 4 in the morning, something crazy like that. So, that's kind of like their little tradition. Like they'll get food together and they'll eat at 4 in the morning. So I got to partake in some really early morning breakfast, which was really cool. So I went to sleep, snugged my friend, and I was on my way about 9 a.m. and I was really surprised that I was like wide awake at 9 in the morning because I had only gotten like 5 hours of sleep realistically. But no, I was ready to go. I was like up. I was up and ready that night. And yeah, so let's see, that was Saturday. So Sunday was actually quite nice. I went down, got some breakfast as per usual, and one of the really special things that I got to do this con was actually something I've never done before. And that was, I went to a panel called Paws of Praise. Now, at first look, you might see that panel on the schedule and think, oh, is this like a paw appreciators meet? But no, it was actually, believe it or not, it was a Christian furries meet. So I went just to see what it was all about, and it was actually super cool. I walked in partial suit, and the place was packed out. I was really surprised to see how many people were there, and it was really sweet because we opened it up with some singing, and we started talking about Palm Sunday and Easter and the meaning of Easter and what it meant, in biblical times and everything. And I think the coolest part of the entire panel, because I didn't know what to expect at first, but the coolest part of the panel for me was they opened it up to the floor, And they were like, if anybody wants to come forward and give their testimony or talk about their story or whatever's on their heart, they can feel free to and be vulnerable. We're all here for you, and we want to hear your story. And the people that went up and gave their testimony, wow. Like, there were some people who had really hard lives and like really traumatic pasts and really rocky experiences, and just hearing their stories and like hearing how the furry fandom has helped them, and like how like God's presence in their life, and like how they kind of go on from this day, and like how they keep going, and just everything about those testimonies was just so beautiful and just strikingly wonderful. And I was just feeling like very, very grateful in that moment. Like, there was a mixture of like sadness for because my heart was heavy hearing their testimonies, but at the same time, I was really feeling uber blessed in that moment, just to be able to be vulnerable with all these people and experience this with them, give them hugs and everything. And also, what I really loved was how they tied the furry fandom into their faith, and like how they kind of experience the furry fandom on a day-to-day basis and what it means to them, and like the fact that many of them said how much of a loving and caring community it is, and like how we could see a lot of like those values in the furry fandom. And I'm like, yes, yes, let's go, this is what we need to hear. Like, we need to hear more about like people's real experiences and their beliefs and what they really feel about the fandom, and like what it means in their lives, and yeah, and how it coincides with their faith, and like how it continues to be like a staple in their lives. And so I thought that was just so beautiful to hear about. And at the end of the panel, we had a time of prayer, which I thought was really powerful. We got together, we had a prayer together as a group, and we got a group picture, and we went out with I feel like we all went out from that panel with a new appreciation, because by that time it was Palm Sunday, and it just happened to work perfectly that day. So yeah, I was feeling really grateful, but also really like convicted by the end of that panel, and just feeling like there was an impact that was made, and there was a difference that was made through this panel. And like I said, I've never been to a panel like this. I've seen them around, like I've seen them happen at conventions, but I've never gone. But I'm really glad that I went and experienced that for what it was. So yeah, that was a huge highlight on Sunday. Um, But promptly after that, I went back to my room, and I hung out with my roomies for a bit, and we got to, just enjoy a nice little relaxing day together. And then I suited up and all the way, and I went down, and again, met some more friends, met some more of you. I ran into a good friend of mine from Canada who I did not expect to see there. In fact, I had no idea he was even there. So that was super cool. And we're like, oh my gosh, you're here. And we hugged and hugged for a long time, just been like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I can't believe it. And just, yeah, just that beautiful moment together. And yeah, that was wonderful, getting to see him again, because I hadn't seen him since A&E. That was a really good time. And yeah, getting to see him there was uh yeah, like I can't describe it. It was so nice to catch up with him again. And yeah, I'm glad that we ran into each other, you know. Um, and then the other two highlights of Sunday were I ran into Twitch the Wolf, who I'm kind of a fan of. I've been following him for quite a while, for probably over 10 years, and I got to see him and say hi, and we did a little sticker swap, which was really cool, and gave him hugs and said, hey, keep doing what you do. I'm glad that you're here. I did not expect to see you, but here you are. So we had a nice time together. And then the other highlight was I met, for the first time in like 13 years ever, I met Aura Fox. And to those of you who don't know, Fox is a plush fox fursuiter who has been around for a long time, like years and years. I would say probably decades at this point. And yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, Aura! And he just kind of looked around playfully, like, what, where? And there he was. So I went up to him and I was like, you have no idea what a pleasure it is to finally meet you. I've been waiting to meet you for like 12 years. And he was like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, can't believe you're here. And we hugged and we got a picture. And like, oh man, I'm so thankful I got to meet him and like finally meet him after so many years. And I may have. I hope I didn't make him feel uncomfortable by telling him like all the things like, oh, I've seen you in so many con videos and I've been wanting to meet you and stuff. And yeah, I hope that to him it was as wholesome as it was for me, really. So shout out to Aurafox and Twitch for being there and just, yeah, being absolutely wonderful people. And I'm so glad I got to meet them both. So big highlights on Sunday. And let's see, Sunday, I ended up going to a small room party of a friend of mine who, really sweet friend. He invited me over. I didn't stay long, but I got to meet some really nice people in there, and we got to hang out and stuff. And after that, I put on my maid's outfit, and I went down to the rave, and went to the Dead Dog Dance, and this is the bittersweet moment of cons, right? I got to be in my maid's outfit and just like be in that room and dance, and yeah, it just felt right, Like at many points, I just closed my eyes and I was just like feeling the music and dancing and just hearing everything going on around me, and like just in all the chaos there was just a huge sense of peace that washed over me, like feeling like I am supposed to be here. Like this is, in a weird sense, it's like a calling in life. That's kind of what I was feeling, was while I had my eyes closed and I was just, you know giving thanks to God, and like just, yeah, like I don't know. It's really hard to describe. I was there, and it's like everything melted away in the music and the noise and the lights, and with my eyes closed, I was just being like, thank you, thank you, thank you for letting me be here in this time, in this moment, and I think I'm exactly where I should be in life, and as hard as that is to describe, it's a feeling that you really have to feel, and yeah, just feeling all that wash over me, man, it just felt right. It felt perfect. All was right with the world. Oh, also, speaking of moments like that, I do want to mention we did get Texas barbecue, so we went to a place called Terry Black's, which is like super authentic barbecue. They have like the smokers outside with like the giant smokers, like with the garage doors and stuff, and you could like put your hand inside the garage door and just feel the heat from the smokers, and like, oh man, that's dope. Just feeling that, the power coming from those smokers, and the place was chaotic, but oh my gosh, was the food good. Ugh. Pretty sure I had the best mac and cheese I've ever had in my life. I got some authentic Texas brisket. I had a local lager beer, and we were sitting up on the top patio of Terry Black's, and there was a full moon, and I was with my friends who I had flown in with, and yeah, we were just hanging out, having a good time, making a bunch of jokes about meats, because furries, I guess. But, I was just, there was a moment in that time with my friends and having barbecue and that beer and under the full moon and the skyscrapers. It's like the stars aligned once again. I just felt right. I felt like this right here is perfect. This right here is living. This right here in this moment, in this time, is what it means to be alive. And I felt uber grateful to be in that moment with my friends and just enjoying food and the city skylines and the full moon and everything about it just came together. Like, I really can't describe it. It was a beautiful thing, you know? Just being there and experiencing that with them. I didn't want that moment to end. Of course, it was a little sketchy, running through downtown Dallas with a tail on. At one point, when we were at the metro station to get on the train to go to the barbecue place, there's a very nice, fine gentleman who came up to me and said, "What's with all these people? Is there like a Pokemon show going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, kinda." And then he pressed a little harder and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a furry convention." He's like, "Oh, what's a furry?" And we started explaining it to him, like, "Yeah, this is what a furry is. This is what we do, and we go to these conventions." He's like, "Oh, that's super cool." So we had a nice little conversation with a stranger on the street. So, yeah, yeah, we educated somebody that night. But that whole, "Oh, is there a Pokemon show going on?" Yeah, that was really cool. So I'll never forget that line. That's something for the books. Also, I forgot to mention on Saturday, I went out with my roomies and a couple other friends to a little marketplace, and we got some sandwiches and stuff. And I had an IPA, super good, by the way. Um, it was another one of those moments we were just sitting on the streets of Dallas, watching the sunset, having our dinner, and just talking and having a good time. And yeah, I'm just like, man, I love living like this. This is so cool. And yeah, it just felt right, you know. It was another one of those moments that just felt right. Although I should mention, um, I got another call out from somebody on the street. I was wearing my tail as well as my fox friend, but I was in the back of our group as we were walking back to the hotel after dinner, and I was wearing my tail and my badges, not my suit head, but just, just a very bare bones furry look. And I was in the back of the group as we were walking, and I was looking at my phone, and suddenly, a parked car on the street, a lady rolls down her window on the passenger side. She looks at me and she shouts, "Loser!" And then they drive off. And I was like, well, that was nice. Oh, and I was like, "Hey, you have no idea, lady." I wanted to go up to her and just be like, "Hey, do you watch Hazbin Hotel?" You know, there's a whole song about that in Hazbin Hotel, so I take that as a compliment, honestly. Another funny moment from just a rando screaming out what they thought was an insult, but in fact was really hilarious to me. Because the connotation of it to me is, "You're a loser, baby, a loser." So, yeah, that was my second call out of the con. Yeah, gotta love Dallas, I guess, for that reason. So I told my group there, and they were like, "Oh, come on." I was like, "It was actually really funny." So, yeah, we had a little laugh about it. It was great. Yeah, just don't give into it, you know. Just laugh, you know. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, then you are bulletproof, as Ricky Gervais would say. So, oh yeah, I should also mention, we got barbecue on Saturday night, I believe. Yeah, I think it was Saturday night and or Sunday night. I can't remember which one it was, but 'cause it all when you're at a con, it feels like one giant day. It all the days bleed together, and then before you know it, it's over. But after we got barbecue, after that night of euphoria, I was so full. I just went back up to my room and I laid down and I slept for about an hour. I had passed out from food comatose. Yeah, heavy stuff, man. And I woke up around 11:30 and I was like, "Oh crap. The night activities are going on. I need to get down there." So I threw something on and I went downstairs. So yeah. I should also mention that right before I went to the dance for that night, I met up with a new cat friend, a very lovely cat friend who I met during one of the meetups. I think it was the content creator meetup. Uh, I said hi to him, and we swapped contact info, and we went down on, I believe this was Saturday night. We went down together and we got a drink together. It was really nice. So, shout out to Scoos for being a very lovely individual. I'm glad I got to meet you. Um, and yeah, thanks for the drink. I'm glad to have gotten to know you, and I'm glad that we got to spend that time together. So, I look forward to seeing you at other conventions, you know? So, yeah, that was nice. And let's see, Sunday, going back to Sunday, the I was talking about the maid's outfit. So I was wearing my maid's outfit and having that feeling of euphoria. And then the rave ended. Everybody was on stage, saying their goodbyes and, just giving their thank yous out. And it was really wonderful, a nice little moment. Um, and yeah, that was it. And by that point, post-con depression started settling in. I was starting to feel the weight of PCD. And I was just kind of walking around, saying hi to friends and talking to them and stuff. You know, and I was trying to make the night last as long as possible. So I just kind of puttered around as a maid for the next 2 hours. And finally, after meeting with some friends and, trying to make the night last, it was about 2 in the morning. And I was like, it's time for me to go upstairs, be a responsible adult, and pack. So I did. I went up and I packed. And I was really sad when I was packing, because con was over at that point, and wow, just, man, uh, that was it. And the next day I got up and I went to the airport. I met the nicest Uber driver who took me to the airport after breakfast, and we talked, and he asked about, like, hey, what's with all these people with, like, the really colorful hair and stuff? And I said, oh, it's a furry convention. And they're like, oh, what's a furry convention? And once again, I explained to them what furry fandom was and told him what we do. And he was like super into it. He was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to look into this more. And like, he was just a really kind individual. Just like, we had a great conversation all the way to the airport, just talking about what the furry fandom was and like what we do. And he was like, so you guys, you go to conventions all over the country and the world? I was like, yeah. He's like, how have I not heard about this? I'm like, I don't know. At one point he did say something funny. He was like, this is totally something I could get into, although I don't know if my wife would really appreciate it. And I was like, yeah. Definitely something that you want to talk to with your spouse. But yeah, dude was super cool. He actually subscribed to my YouTube channel because he asked about it. He was like, oh, you do like YouTube stuff? And I was like, yeah. So he's like, here, let me pull up your channel. And I typed it in his phone, and he started playing a video through the loudspeaker of his car. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was blushing the whole time. And yeah, he was like, oh man, you got a great voice. I was like, oh, thanks. So yeah, I hope one day he contacts me and we can have a chat again and talk more about it, because he was also saying like this is something his son might be interested in. And I was like, well, I gave him a precaution. I was like, just be careful. If your son is younger, make sure that you give him the proper guidance with this fandom, because it can be a lot, and it can be a lot to take in. So yeah, we shook hands, and I made sure to tip him well because he treated me really well, and I treated him as best as I could, and we said our goodbyes, and that was it. So I feel like I was able to help change somebody's life that day, hopefully for the better. So because dude was like super awesome and like really into it and asking questions and just being really interested. And I'm just really thankful that he he took the time to talk to me about it. And I got to explain to him what the furry fandom was really about. And I think he'll look into it. I think he will educate himself and continue to look into it. And just yeah, I hope that it serves him well in the future. So, I got on the plane after some rough TSA. They told me that my bag was about 5 or 10 pounds overweight, but they gave me a break. They said, hey, normally we would charge X amount of dollars for this being overweight, but just make sure it doesn't happen again. We're not going to charge you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, American Airlines, for being so awesome and not charging me for an extra few pounds. That really means a lot. So, shout out to the really nice lady at the kiosk for, not charging me extra. So, the flight back home was relatively smooth, except for some turbulence. The minute we got into Ohio, it was just turbulence, and it was cold again. I was like, oh man, because it had dropped like 30 degrees between Texas and Ohio, and I was like, ugh, only Ohio weather would have like the cold and the rain and the turbulence. Yep. I'm back home officially. Here we are. So I got picked up by a very lovely friend. We hung out. I bought him dinner as a thank you, and we hung out, for a little bit after that. And I basically unpacked and then passed out. And that is my TFF experience. What a weekend. Oh my gosh. So, to any of you who are interested, by all means, if you're looking for a good first experience FurryCon, then I highly recommend Texas Furry Fiesta. Great time. One of my favorite cons of all time. And I could not be more grateful for the weekend that you all have given me. Oh, I should also mention two things. One, attendance numbers were over 8,000, which is a record breaker. Awesome. I'm really glad to see that. And the other record breaker was, I believe, they raised about $50,000 for the Care Foundation, which they specialize in animal rehab and taking care of endangered species of cats, like big cats, like tigers and stuff. And they do really great work in the Dallas area. So we got to raise 50 grand for that charity. So awesome job, furries. We did it. We got them. 50 grand. Let's go. This is what we do, and this is why we do it. So super grateful for that. I'm going to check my notes here to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me see here. Oh, so just to kind of close out this podcast, because we're getting close to an hour here, but I just want to say one quick thing that I kind of realized over this weekend. In those moments of euphoria and gratefulness and feeling blessed, and especially when I was in the positive praise panel, just being with, surrounded by other Christian furries, something came into my mind, and it was something that really struck me, and I just want to give this as a word of encouragement to all of you. You don't need to hide. That's what came into my brain. Like something in my brain, just this sentence came in my brain as I was sitting there. Excuse me. As I was sitting there during the panel. No more hiding. There's no need to hide who you are. There's no need to feel like you need to be apprehensive. There's no need to hold back. Just be yourself. No need to hide. No need to feel like you need to pull back, because this is you. This is who you are. And people are going to accept you and reject you and be indifferent to you your entire life. So why should you bother hiding who you truly are for the sake of their comfort? And that's a deep question. So I've made a decision this past convention, and that is I'm going to stop hiding. I'm going to stop hiding who I am. I'm going to stop, trying to adjust myself for the sake of someone else's comfort. I'm going to stop, worrying about what other people think, because at the end of the day, this is who I am, and this is only who I'm going to be. So why would I not show the world who I truly am? If you don't show the world who you truly are, then how can you expect to ever be loved or appreciated for who you truly are and what you're truly about? No more fronts, no more fakes, no more phonies, no more play acting, no more pretending. Be yourself. Be who you're made to be. And above all, be you. Be yourself. There has never been anyone like you. There will never ever be anyone like you in the future, and there is no one like you right now. The world needs you just as you are, and no one can ever take that from you. No one can ever tell you who you can and can't be or who you should or shouldn't be. That is for you to decide. You are created with a purpose, and only you can fulfill that purpose. And if someone doesn't accept that, that is their problem alone. It is not your business what they think about you. And remember sic parvis magna, greatness from small beginnings. Remember where you started, where you came from, and your origins. Because from the time that you started in this life to your journey's progress as it goes now, to your journey's end, there is greatness there. And you could find it if you look for it. So that, my friends, is the podcast. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me do this every single day. You are helping me live my dream every day, and I could not be more grateful for who you are and for making me the person that I am today. I would not be here without you, and this is a gift that you have given me, truly, to be myself and to be who I am and to show you and the world who I truly am. And I am forever in your debt for that reason. So until next time, this is Samson Kitty Fox. Thank you for listening. Thank you for loving. I love you all so much. And I will catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Bye. Love you all. Meow, meow.